Everyone around the world believes that the Holocaust took place. Why do you think it didn't?
Well, Montel, it's very important to understand that no one says that those pictures are not real, as you indicated at the beginning of the program. The pictures are very real, they're very horrible, they're very tragic, and we've all seen them. We've all heard that 6 million Jews died in the Second World War during the Holocaust. But it's very important to understand what these pictures show and what they don't show. These pictures were taken at the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp at the end of the war by the British when they liberated the camp. The people shown these pictures, and it's a very, very terrible pictures. Nobody denies that. Nobody says it didn't happen. Nobody says it's not true. These people were victims of starvation and disease. They died in the last weeks of the war. And they died in the last weeks of the war as, in fact, indirect victims of the war. British doctors who were at the camp themselves at the time the camp was liberated, and many inmates who were at the camp there and elsewhere have also confirmed that conditions at Belsen, although certainly not a country club, were relatively good until the final weeks and months of the war. And that was because in the final weeks and months of the war, all of Germany, all of Europe was in complete chaos. All the railroads were ruined. It was impossible to supply food. It was impossible to supply water. And particularly at Bergen-Belsen, thousands and thousands and thousands of Jews were evacuated from camps further to the east as the Soviets were coming in and sent into this and other camps which were enormously overcrowded. And these people died in large numbers by disease and starvation. But if the policy of the German government had been to exterminate these people, they would have long since been dead, and these pictures would not have been taken. In fact, the German government policy during the war was a very grim one, it was a very harsh one, and so forth. As I said, again, no one denies those pictures. But those people were not victims of a program or a policy of extermination, and that's what Holocaust revisionists say.